in various ways. Sri Krishna gives 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In 18th chapter, the conclusion of all teaching is called surrender. The conclusion of all teaching is called surrender. Okay. So now, what is surrender? Sri Krishna says in the 18th chapter sloka, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashna. No, I'm saying. Sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchah. So this is the final teaching of Krishna to Arjuna. What is the final teaching? Sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchah. 18th chapter, last few slokas. So the surrender is told here. Okay. So this is taken as a key teaching by Sri Ramanujacharya. Sri Ramanujacharya says prapatti or surrender is the final teaching. Krishna has spoken of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, kriya yoga, all yogas is spoken in 18 chapters. But finally says the key of all this is prapatti or surrender. Is that clear, Dr. Vipin?
Yes, sir.
So now,
yes.
What is the surrender he is speaking of? The definition of surrender is told in the sloka. Sarva dharman paritijya mamekam sharanam vraja. What is drop all the dharmas? What is Krishna saying? So far is telling Krishna Arjuna, so fight for your dharma. Okay? Swadharme nidhanam shreyam. You do it for dharma, you says. First Arjuna, tell Arjuna. Now last sloka, don't need no dharma. How is it possible? It's not contradictory. So here, sarva dharman paritijya means, real meaning of that is sarva karman paritijya. That means dharma can be followed when you do karma. So dharma by itself we cannot follow. Dharma to follow, I have to do my karma. I have to do my duty. Are you getting what I'm saying, Sir Dr. Vipin?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Yes.
So dharma, let's say Arjuna has to follow Kshatriya dharma. Okay. For following Kshatriya dharma, he has to do some karma, action. Right? So karma has to be done. Without doing dharma, without doing dharma, dharma cannot be followed. Karma has to be done. So Sri Krishna told Arjuna that follow your dharma from earlier chapters. Now he is saying sarva dharman paritijya means he is not telling him to drop the dharma. He is telling him to drop the karma action. So now why Krishna is telling him to drop karma action? So Arjuna, so now you don't fight the war, you go home. Is he saying that? He is not saying karma, drop the karma also. He is saying drop the kartrutva, doership. Do every action without a doership. Understand? Real meaning of surrender, as per Krishna, is action without a doership. So, this action without a doership is told in various ways as karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and kriya yoga. In karma yoga, the action without doership is you do something, but do not get attached to result. Karmane vadikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachan. Your results, your attachment to result is cut off. So then do everything with a complete focus, dedication. Then you say, I am not the doer, God is doer through me. I am nimitta matra. So that means your ego is removed in total surrender. So the real definition of surrender is action without doership as per the Bhagavad Gita. So now this is the primary definition. The second definition will tell you. Okay. This is the primary definition. Final definition of Bhagavad Gita given in Bhagavad Gita. Surrender means action following dharma without doership as an instrument of God. So does this give a clarity to you, Vipin? First level.
Yes, Guruji. Yes, it gives clarity. But
So now,
practically, Guruji, when we start doing it, so does it mean that when action is being done, we should be a witness while doing action,
no.
and we should.
Don't worry about that. I'll do a surgery for that.
All right.
I'll take you through a process called Prakriya, where you understand who is the real doer.
All right.
Okay. Right now, I'm not doing that. Right now, I'm giving a definition of surrender.
Okay.
So, definition of surrender as per Krishna is action without doership. So that Krishna has told in the chapter 3, second chapter itself, Karma Yoga, action without doership. There, when you do action without doership, still there's an ego. I am doing something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
in total surrender, there's no ego. Ego is gone.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
Correct.
That's one definition of surrender. Second definition of surrender is there are many things happen in our life. Okay. Let us say some financial loss or something gain, some name, fame, some relationships. So many things happen in our life. Okay. So first we have to understand that we cannot control what happens in our life. Can you control life?
No.
We cannot control life. What happens to us in next moment, we can't control. Right?
Yes, Guruji. Yes.
So, anything can happen to us in any moment in your life. And why it happens? It happens because of our past karma. It happens because of God's grace. Something happens in our life. So now, most of the people, do not accept what happens to their life. They say they'll find a problem. This should not happen to me. This happened because of this person. This happened because of this circumstance. They'll fight with the situation. They'll constantly live in past or future, regret or guilt or fear or anxiety. So, first layer of surrender is accepting life as it happens. This is what has happened this moment. I don't have a choice. Choiceless acceptance is the first level of surrender. Not regretting, not living in the past, not living in the coming to the present moment, accepting what's happening in the present moment unconditionally is called surrender. That will happen when we understand that what happens in our life is because of my prarabdha karma and God's grace. I don't have a control over that. If otherwise people will think, oh, I'm suffering now because of that person. I'm suffering now because there's no money. I'm suffering this because of this. We'll give a situation. We will not understand. It's my prarabdha karma has brought this situation to you. It's God's grace which has brought this situation. Without understanding that, we'll keep on resisting it. We don't live in the present moment. So to accept everything coming in the present moment is called surrender. Second definition. Are we clear? Then,
Yes.
once you accept it, then you can take a right action. If you're not able to accept it, you can't take a right action. Your mind will be agitated. You'll take a wrong action or action which is not fitting into it. Taking a right action and doing it without a doership is called surrender. So, to answer your question about surrender, first is accepting life as it is. Why do you accept life as it is? It is because of prarabdha karma and God's grace. In totality, we say God's will, because of God's will, something happened in my life. Don't fight with the God's will, accept God's will. Then do your duty. But while doing your duty, do it without a doership. Then your life will be completely peaceful, then you are one with God. This is the meaning of surrender. Understand?
Yes,
so
Guruji.
then, surrender to Guru is Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena parisevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tatvashina. This is the servant referring to Guru is there. Pranipatena. So now, when you come to Guru, there are two types of Guru, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. Shiksha Guru will give you some practices, maybe yoga, maybe breathing, maybe mantra chanting, maybe puja. All those things are for disciplining yourself. So, discipline yourself, that's why it's called Shishya. Shishya is one is discipline. The word discipline, that's called disciple. Okay? So, many people start their spiritual journey as a disciples. Means, disciple word means discipline yourself. So, Guru can tell you what to do for disciplining yourself. You do this vrata, this puja, this mantra chanting, whatever is that. It's called Shiksha. So, this Shiksha is operating in the mind, domain of intellect, mind and body. Okay? So, then earnestly, you're following the Guru's word is called surrender. Whatever is told by Guru, follow it thoroughly. For a Shiksha Guru. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then, after you follow your Shiksha Guru, you have reached a certain level of maturity. Shiksha Guru's teaching is to take from Tamo Guna to Rajo Guna to Sattva Guna. So then, you have a desire for mukti, moksha. For moksha, you need a Sadguru who is realized master. You don't know where he is. Who is he? We don't know. We cannot find a Sadguru. But we can find an Acharya, a spiritual teacher. So Acharya will give you good education in scriptures. Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, good education. Surrender to Acharya, understand, do Shravana, Mana, Nididhyasa. That's called surrender. Okay. So now, finally you realize that for my liberation, what is missing is I have ego. I cannot remove ego by myself. It's like saying a doctor, a good heart surgeon cannot remove his heart block himself. He needs a surgeon. No doctor can treat himself. So for that, for removing my ego, I have to surrender to a master. So when I surrender to master, then there's no question of what should I do. Because the moment I ask what should I do, the ego has come into picture. The doership has come into picture. So when you surrender to master, you have nothing to do. That's the dead end. So that's the meaning of pranipata. Surrender to a master. The master, upadekshanti te jnanam. He gives the jnana. So jnana liberates you. You don't have to do anything. You have no role to play. You have to surrender yourself to jnana which is given. So typically, it's an inquiry. Ramana Maharshi says, I inquire, who am I? Okay. So now people make it as a practice because they make it as a shiksha. Who am I? Inquire and beat that. So the master will take you through inquiry process. And that inquiry process, understanding is there, deep understanding comes to you. My ego is false. Then stay with that. Then the master will give you lifestyle that won't fall Maya again. That's called surrender. So when you go to a Gnani or enlightened master, there's nothing else for you. That's your dead end of your journey. That's called Diksha. Diksha is not a practice. Diksha is the end. Are you clear? So,
yes,
is the definition of understanding surrender clear?
Yes, Guruji, to a great extent.
What is missing part?
Guruji, first you said that Shiksha Guru is going to tell us about breathing and he's going to tell us about follow the discipline, and that is what to do.
Yeah.
And then you talked about that he's going to bring about the difference between Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and Satoguna. And then you said that for moksha, you will have Sadguru is required, which you can't find. for that, you said Acharya has to be there who's going to tell us about scriptures and he's going to tell us about surrender. But when there is the desire for liberation, that means that I have ego, I have got to surrender to the master. And then at that time, when surrender is there, then Nana is important and liberation is going to be done through that. I do not have anything to do. I can't do anything. Only through self-inquiry and through Diksha, there is going to be deep understanding. So my question, Guruji, is that Sadguru, till this position between Shiksha, Diksha, and my desire for moksha, the Sadguru has not appeared. So that means that this surrender to the master, when you say, there is slight confusion.
So, how do you know when Sadguru?
I don't know, sir. I don't know,
So,
Guruji.
see, basically, a Shiksha Guru can be recognized.
Yes.
Understand? A Diksha Guru or Sadguru cannot be recognized by our intellect because there are no external characteristics.
Yes.
So, how do you recognize Sadguru? Please tell me.
Guruji, by the vibrations, by the energy field that is there in the presence of a Sadguru, probably the disciple or probably the feeling that is going to come or just the changes that can happen probably is going to prove the presence of the Sadguru. I don't know.
Ramana Maharshi answered this question. If you are in the presence of a master, you will feel calmness of the mind will become silent.
Correct.
And the questions will disappear. Not the questions will get answered. The questioner disappears. Understand?
Yes, Guruji.
The questions will disappear. The mind will become calm and realize that he is the Sadguru. It's not about dress or what he teaches. Are we clear?
Yes, yes, Guruji. Yes.
So now, surrender, I start with the definition of Krishna first.
Yes.
Sarva dharman paritejya mamekam sharanam vraja. That means doing all your actions without doership is called final surrender.
Yes, sir.
So for that, we come across Shiksha Guru where there's the ego. Still doership is there.
Yes.
Okay, then some practice is there. I'll do some japa several times. I'll do mantra chanting several times. So finally, if you are mature enough and your good karma will take you to Sadguru. When you go to Sadguru, there's no role for you to play. There's nothing more to ask, nothing more to do. So Sadguru doesn't teach you self-inquiry. Please understand. Self-inquiry means we start thinking, I'll have to ask who am I? No. Sadguru's questioning and method of teaching will remove the ego. It's a surgery. It's not a practice.
Yes, Guruji.
So that's a total surrender because I can't do anything. I have nothing to do. Is there something to do? Nothing to do. You cannot do anything. As long as you do something about it, then you are the Shiksha Guru. So I can't do anything. I have nothing to do. Is there beyond that any surrender is possible?
Yes. Yes, Guruji.
So is it clear? Your surrender question is clear fully?
Yes, 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 Guruji. It's very clear, Guruji.
Okay. Anybody, any questions on this surrender? Dr. Chandramouli or anybody? Shaila Hegde, Vasudha, anybody has a question on surrender?
Guruji, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು.
Okay.
I guess the Ichcha Shakti and Kriya Shakti in this context is that you will understand that it is universal power which is going through you and you surrender yourself to that. Correct?
Okay. Now let us go. What is the question of surrender? How does one surrender? Okay. So Dr. Vipin, we are taking the question of surrender. How to do that surrender? Okay.
Guruji, in my humble opinion, I think silence is the only way that I can think of. Surrender basically means that I mean, gradually it is the culmination of the self-inquiry, and eventually when we reach a certain stage when we are the witness, and we are in a state when we are the subject and not the object, that state when we totally get established in that, I, in my humble opinion, Guruji, that is.
So you are right about that, but there are different words you have used. Silence,
Yes,
and we do a journey, right? Then we get
Yes.
established the witness. Okay.
Guruji,
So
yes.
here, the moment we speak of journey, it becomes a shiksha.
Right, Guruji.
Time is involved, practice is involved. Okay.
Yes.
So in jnana, you don't get established the witness. You realize you are the witness all the time. It's the other way.
Okay.
Understand? So I have to get established the witness. That means I have to become something.
Yes, yes, Guruji, yes.
So I have to become, as long as I have to become something, still you are in the domain of what we call as practice. When you are in the domain of practice, it's called shiksha.
Yes.
So in diksha, you don't have to establish in the witness. You are recognizing I am the witness. I don't have to go anywhere. I am already there. That's called diksha. So diksha is dropping of the ego finally. As long as I have to do something about it, as long as I have to some practice to do, as long as I have to become something, as long as I have to get established in Sakshi, still there is a doership. Okay. Now the silence which is spoken of by Ramana Maharshi or anybody is not the silence of the mind. There are two types of silence. Silence of the mind and silence beyond the mind.
All right.
Silence beyond the mind is called self-Atma. So that silence in Vedanta, it's called Parashanti.
Right.
So there is a Shanti and Parashanti difference you have to understand. Shanti means silence or peace. So this is actually at the upper, at the lower level. So for example, I can practice mauna, not talking. Or I can practice meditation. These are all practices leading to Shanti, because practice is always in the domain of mind and the body and the intellect. It is called Shanti. Okay. So now, this Shanti or the silence which Ramana Maharshi is speaking of is silence beyond the mind. So what is the difference? Silence of the mind involves action or inaction. So for example, I don't talk. Then silence of mouth is there. Okay. I talk, the sound is there. Sound and silence in the duality in the Shanti. So I'm sitting for meditation, Shanti. But after meditation, again thoughts will come. Silence of the mind is gone. Whereas Parashanti or supreme peace is not affected by silence of the body, silence of the mind, silence of the intellect. So the silence of the body, mind, and intellect is not, Parashanti is not affected by silence of the body, mind, and intellect. So Parashanti is not dependent on practice. Parashanti is your natural state.
Yes, Guruji.
Understand? The Parashanti will happen only when you drop the ego. As long as ego is there, Shanti only is the question. So when we speak of silence or peace, there are two types of silence and peace. One is apara, lower level, and para. Apara means practice dependent. Para means natural state.
Ji Guruji.
So from apara to para, if you have to go, the self-enquiry is the only way. For apara shanti, lower level peace, meditation can help, bhajan can help, or mauna can help, or prayer can help for the apara shanti. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, Guruji. You have said, Guruji, that there is one silence of the mind and there is another silence beyond the mind.
Correct.
And you said first one is apara and the second one is para.
Para.
Parashanti. And then you said that the Parashanti is not dependent, or it is not dependent on practice. It is natural state.
It's your nature.
It is my natural state, and that can only be acquired when we drop the ego. And self-inquiry will eventually lead to that state.
The moment you use the word eventually, you have brought time.
Sorry.
The moment you brought eventually, you have made self-inquiry into apara.
Okay.
Understand? It is always here and now. It's not tomorrow. It is always here and now. The moment you say eventually, the moment you say self-inquiry as a practice, then you have brought time and space into that.
Okay.
Then it has come to para level. Apara level, sorry.
Yes. So Guruji, when we say that let us not become, let us just be.
Correct.
So when we say just be, that probably is the state of Parashanti.
And it is always here and now.
It is
not tomorrow. If you say, I'll do something and get it, then it becomes apara.
Yes.
So the principle is simple. Here and now, okay, and what you realize is nowhere, beyond time and space. Here and now means in time and space, now. Nowhere means not in time and space. Okay? If it doesn't happen here and now, it will be never, because you are bringing time and space into that.
Yes, Guruji.
So you have to remember three words: here and now, nowhere, or never.
Nowhere and never referring to explain.
Yes, Doctor.
When you say nowhere and never, what do you mean by that?
So, first is here and now, you understood?
Yeah.
What is here and now? What is here?
Here means the where my mind.
Here means in space.
Yeah.
Okay. What is here is your body, space. Understand? Now means time. It is now. So if you bring the concept of the one day I'll get realized, then already you are gone into lower level.
Yeah.
Time you have brought in. Here and now. What is here and now? Are you there, Doctor? Do you exist?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you aware?
Yes.
Is your awareness in time and space?
No.
So your awareness is not in time and space. Time and space is in awareness.
Correct.
So where is awareness?
Even here and now.
It is nowhere.
Oh,
It is not here in time, here space or time, nowhere. Because
Oh,
time
I
and
see.
space is in awareness.
okay.
Are you getting?
Got it.
But to go to nowhere, first you have to come to here and now. Here and now is the gateway to nowhere. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it is always here and now. Just be. Don't try to become anything. The moment you try to become something, you are already brought in time and space, which means apara. I'll do some practice. One day I'll become realized. Then you become apara. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the word never, you said?
Okay. This is you understood, no?
Yeah.
This much here and now and nowhere you understood.
Correct.
So now, if you bring anything else, you'll never get enlightened.
Oh, I see.
Because you're creating time and space.
Yeah.
Illusion. So if you have a concept that by practicing this I'll get enlightened one day, it's never. Because enlightenment is not in time and space. It's always here and now, nowhere. Is the definition clear?
Yes. Can we understand then parashanti as when people talk about portals to consciousness where there is no thought stage, where no,
That's false.
pause.
There's a wrong understanding.
I see.
See, we are mixing up. You started with saying, okay, I want to get established in the state. Okay. First of all, it's false. There's no state called enlightenment. It's your nature. Atma is not a state. All states are in Atma. Atma is not a state. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state is in Atma. Atma is not in any state.
Okay.
Okay. So now, many teachings, spiritual teachings say, you have to be thoughtless. Understand?
Uh-huh.
So it is not possible. The thoughtless state comes from the yogic teaching. Yogaha chittavritti nirodha. Thoughtless state is called enlightenment or samadhi in yoga. Okay, are you understanding what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Vedanta has no acceptance of this. Vedanta doesn't accept thoughtless state is samadhi, realization. So Vedanta is having the right thought is samadhi.
Like aham brahmasmi.
Okay, let me ask you, doctor. Are you doctor?
Yes.
Yes. No. Yes or no?
No.
Then what are you?
I have a role as a doctor.
Correct. So real I is not a state at all. Okay, whether you have a thought of I'm playing the role of a doctor or looking at a patient, still you are the Atma.
Right.
So Vedanta speaks of that samadhi, which is parashanti. I am the Atma in any situation, any state. Thoughts are there, thoughts are not there. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
That's called sahaja samadhi. So yogic practice is I have to sit in samadhi where thoughts have become zero. So that is not Vedantic practice, Vedantic Vichara. So Vedanta, whether thoughts are there or thoughts are not there, you're acting or not acting. I am the Atma. Getting established in that is called Sahaja Samadhi, natural state. It's called Parashanti. So Vedanta does not discourage Samadhi. But Vedanta does not say Samadhi is realization. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Got it. Shunyavada versus what is that versus believing that you are Atman.
Shunyavada versus Atman. So these are all semantic errors. I'm saying these are what you call philosophical fights. Okay, let us not get into philosophical discussions because they are intellectualization. Just ask who are you? Okay. Who are you is not a state. Who are you is not a thought. Who are you is beyond any thought. And that is not dependent on what practice you do.
Mm.
Are we clear?
Mhm.
So Vedantic Samadhi is, it can be with open eyes, with the action in the world, with the thoughts. Still it can be in Vedantic realization. It's called Sahaja Samadhi. So many yogic teachings are getting mixed up in Vedanta. Yoga is an yoga chitta, stop the thoughts. Vedanta doesn't say stop the thoughts. Thoughts will drop when you are Brahman. But there's a natural process. Stopping thoughts will not is Samadhi, not realization. I am Brahman thought finally reduces all of the thoughts. It's not you're stopping the thought. Thoughts will get dropped. And that will happen with your eyes open when you're working in the world. It still can be in Sahaja Samadhi. Just like a woman, when she's working, okay, or playing with a child, or going to office, she'll never forget that she's a woman. She doesn't have to sit in Samadhi for woman, being a woman. That's called Vedantic realization or Sahaja Samadhi. Are we clear? Any questions, Dr. Vipin?
Guruji, I'm just remembering, I read somewhere, sitting silently, doing nothing, spring comes and grass grows by itself.
That's Osho. That's Osho.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Osho
sir.
says, sitting silently, spring. Hey, you sit. That's okay. I'm saying, sitting silently, all those
Doing
things are
nothing.
fine. Doing nothing is fine. That's actually Osho's approach of teaching.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, each teacher has his own approach. So Osho, what he says is truth only. There's nothing wrong in that. I am only bringing the Vedantic perspective.
Right, Guruji.
Right. So the question here, let me ask you, let me bring the Vedantic difference with what Osho is saying. Okay. So I'm not disputing what Osho is saying. I'm not disputing any other system also. I'm just bringing the real crux of Vedanta. So crux of Vedanta is, it does not matter whether you sit silently or walk or dance or sing or do any work. Deep inside, you know, I am Brahman. That's called Parashanti. So for that, if you want to sit silently, you can sit silently. If you want to do work, karma yoga, you do it. Finally, it is not a achievement. It's your own nature. So sitting silently, the grass grows. So there's a concept of time there.
Yes.
Okay. In Vedantic realization, there's no concept of time.
Yeah, Guruji. Yeah, Guruji.
Got it?
Yes, Guruji.
So where there's concept of time, where there's concept of space, it is related to yoga. So
Yes, Guruji.
Vedantic realization is not time and space. So it is your nature, it's here and now. No, if you say, I'll sit silently and I'll realize here and now, then you're not. Its conditions apply.
Yes, Guruji.
Got it?
Yes, yes, Guruji. Got it. Got it, Guruji.
So anybody else, any questions, Dr. Chandramoli, or anybody on Zoom?
I mean, even with the thoughts, you can have parashanti because you're dissociating yourself. Because
You can have parashanti is false.
you are itself parashanti.
You are parashanti.
So the thoughts come and go. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. How does it matter?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right? See what's happening, Chandramoli and Vipin. Many of the yogic teachings have gone into Vedanta. It's mixing up and confusing. Okay.
Yes, Guruji.
I come from deep background of yoga. I come from deep background of Vedanta. I can see where the confusion is happening. Yogic approach is a valid approach, no problem. Okay, but yoga has a problem. It has made into Ashtanga Yoga steps. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. It has made steps. But your nature is not steps. Your nature is here and now. That's the Vedantic approach. And for most of the people, both are required. It's not that somebody can go to here and now immediately. They need to go practice yoga or sitting silently, they have to practice. But Vedantic teaching is always here and now. It's not time dependent. It's not that I'll get peace. It's not that I have peace. It's not that I have become silent. It is that I am silence. I am peace. It does not matter even if war is going on.
Yeah.
Right? So Vedanta realization removes the external conditioning and external actions from the realization. It's the transcendent. So Chandramoli, any questions?
No, I think the concept is clear. I think some books, when they talk about portals of consciousness, meaning you realize your true nature, and sometimes your other misidentification comes in, and you go back to that. Is that, I think that's what they refer to, I would imagine.
Okay. So shall we close for the day?